Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Professor, for first of all inviting me here to Budapest. Since it's quite a lot of years I've been here the last time, and thank you for your attention. When I was asked whether I can participate, I was thinking about what topic would be maybe a bit more attractive to the audience, as last year I devoted my research primarily to AI and its influence on consumer protection. As it was already mentioned in the morning by different speakers, the agenda is very robust. The legal questions behind are, not assessed very well yet. So I've picked just one, not even article, but just section of one article of AI Act in which I want to delve in more detail. So that's why I picked social scoring as a term which is maybe known to you already. There's no other way, I would say, to start the presentation than by a famous Orwell novel, 1984, when already in 1949 he predicted possible results of technology or a system itself, and AI somehow can improve improve the ability to watch each other's steps. Everybody knows that most of our lives is already online, not meaning just social medias, but most of our shopping, etc., is dealt online. So if you imagine, not being futuristic or depressive, but AI can know anything about us, and it can be somehow put not in or addressed not in an ethical or consumer beneficiary way. I would like to start in medias res, as my speakers from the morning already introduced a bit of AI Act. So this is Article 5 of AI Act. I won't go into details. One note, just that Article 5 is the article that's already in force, effective since, I guess, 5 February of previous year. Nevertheless, we do not have any practical experience with it. And if you go into details in several letters of that article, consumer protection has a very big influence on several of those articles. Some core instruments of consumer protections are involved in letter A, letter B, etc. But today I will focus more on social scoring, as I've already mentioned, and the main hypothesis behind this, whether social scoring or AI-driven social scoring is forbidden or not within B2C relationships according AI Act. Firstly, some reasons behind this is Article 5. the mentioned letter of AI Act, just for you to read. I won't go into details now. On a few next slides, we will delve into more details. But just the reason behind why even social scoring is in AI Act, and it's within the prohibition. Each AI system that falls under this criteria is forbidden under AI Act. The EU legislator, well, not specifically explained, but there was some inspiration based in China, where at least it's maybe common that the social scoring worked over there. There has been a lot of studies behind, etc., but the recent ones are somehow contradictory to the first ones, and that meaning that China doesn't have social scoring system on a state level, maybe in some circumstances, etc. So there exists already some authors that say that EU legislator puts this provision in AI Act in fear of China results, but they were based on myths. Well, I will not specifically answer whether it's correct or not, just for you know that there's also one view. The reality is that we have such a provision, and maybe it's not, of course, related or just to B2C relationships. Even in China, you know that it covers all the state possibility to watch over the people. And for example, if your score is low, you won't get first class on an air ticket, etc. So that's why it's forbidden here. I've mentioned that we do not have too much AI experience yet, but I would like to mention one Slovak ruling, not of course devoted to AI, not devoted to social scoring, but it somehow the constitutional court of the Slovak Republic has already declared that the system called e-kasa in Slovak, it's e-cash register, where state take all the information, individual information about single consumers, about their purchases, etc., through that system, is not in line with constitution and in line with right of a person to self-determination. I'm mentioning this case only because it may have its influence also on social scoring within AI systems. Now, let's get back to Article 5 and AI Act. Based on the provision, you already saw there's possible to construct four-point test of whether the AI is forbidden, the social scoring is forbidden or not. Those criteria has to be met. Firstly, the AI system has to be deployed. It's obvious, of course. I won't go into details, but it has to be placed on the market, etc. It can be used even by state, by trader, or whoever, even consumer. But if consumer uses the system for its personal, not commercial purposes, it won't fall under the AI Act. Once the AI system is involved, if we are talking about social scoring, The main aim is that the consumer, in our case, or the individual natural person, is scored by different social behavior or personality characteristics. Those are, of course, not described within AI Act, but the assessment means determining a level, assigning a score that can be point, percentage, etc., to the criterion being assessed. In addition to the assessment of a natural person, classification includes their subsequent systematic sorting and grouping according to certain criteria. The social behavior can be various. Different social relationships, relationships to other people, social values, environment, legal order, based on multiple data points. For example, volunteering, ability to repay the debts, pay installments on time, etc. And that everything can lead to the profiling and to assign a social score. Also, personality characteristics. Here, it's important to point out that those characteristics doesn't need to be known. For example, verifiable data. AI can acquire the data from public registers, etc. For example, that you're owner of some house and so on. But this encompasses also data that are derived, inferred from habits of a person, or only assumed, estimated by AI. Those all data creates the social score. For example, if the consumer is more emotional, if he has temperament, what kind of temperament, if he is manipulable or not, then that can everything creates a profile of the consumer, and then based on those data, the consumer is evaluated. The other prerequisite for AI system to be banned for the social scoring is that the evaluation needs to be based on more data sets, not just a single data for a single purpose, but those data need to come from a certain period of time. The trouble here is that AI Act doesn't say what period of time. So it means that it can be a really short period of time. If you have maybe 2 data, it will fall under. The third part of the test is result. The social score assigned to consumer by an AI system is the reason for the trader's inappropriate, harmful, or unfavorable treatment of the consumer. The assignment of a social score in itself is not necessarily a negative way. It can have a positive influence on the consumer. But in some cases, it's even objectively necessary to assess, to give a social score to the consumer. I will get there on a few next slides, but firstly, let me mention some trigger points that are related to point 3. Because the prohibition has to be, or is valid only if the social scoring is carried out in a social context unrelated to the contexts in which the data for the social score was originally generated or collected. It means that, for example, the trader will use data about beliefs, debts, history, social media activity, etc., in the different contexts, in the context of providing a product or service denial, etc., etc. That's the first trigger point. The second one, and each of them has to be just one of them has to be fulfilled in order to say that the social scoring is prohibited. The second trigger point is that it's unjustified or disproportionate to the social behavior of a natural person or its seriousness. It means that even if we say that the social scoring is opportunity of a trader, the result has to be not unjustified or disproportionate to the consumer. It means that, for example, AI system collected data on consumer in relation to the behavior in B2C relationship. The same relationship may be a relationship with other traders previously. Non-repayment of loans, for example, attempted insurance fraud, withdrawal from a consumer contract continuously several times, etc., etc. Then the system give a social score to the consumer, and the result would be a higher price of a product. Now we have to assess if it's justified or not. Another example is that, for example, with a lower relevance of seriousness, consumer had previously returned the product, but it was within 14 days period, which is his right to return. But the trader took an action, and because of the social score, also provides the consumer with a higher price. Or disproportionately, the trader refuses to sell the product. So those are two trigger points. And now let me back to the permitted scoring, or at least the one that is even, well, not required by law in some cases, but in some cases, yes. We have already heard about the creditworthiness of a consumer as a very big topic, so I won't go again into the details, but it's one of the examples where the social scoring is needed and even granted by the legislation, because you're not able to provide a loan to the person who is not able to pay the loan. Another example is insurance, that is not, well, somehow behind the Solvency II, etc. It's also an obligation of the insurance company to have the portfolio, but for example, health assessment within the insurance company can provide a social score to consumer based on their health, and then maybe ask for a higher premium. Another example is fraud prevention, of course, and for example, platform safety, when you're identifying users who violate the terms by some hate speech or other examples. Very interesting question, just some final remarks before conclusion, is positive social scoring. And the question that arose is whether is it even permitted? Not because of the AI Act, but other regulation. is the reward of, for example, me as, I don't know, trying to buy green products, etc., etc. So I earn some green points, let's say. Is it okay if the seller, the trader, provides me with price reduction for another product or something like that, based on my social score, because I'm, well, behaving in some way. AI Act, of course, doesn't frown upon that kind of situations, but the thing I want to mention is that there is a guideline behind already provided by Commission towards Article 5 of AI Act, and those guidelines, for example, prohibits such positive discrimination, let's say, in employment relationships, but on the other hand, within B2C relationships, within the same guidelines, it's considered to be okay. I don't oppose. There's some reason behind, of course, but it's very the same article, the same provision, and different results. All in all, it doesn't seem inappropriate, but we have to assess case to case, of course, because even positive discrimination is not supposed to discriminate others. So when assessing consumer protection in general, also within AI involvement, the AI compliance has, or the B2C relationship compliance has to bear in mind not just AI Act, but several other acts, of course, consumer protection, because, for example, even if the behavior of a trader is complied with Article 5 of AI Act, doesn't mean that it complies with UCPD directive, for example, or anti-discriminatory law, or GDPR that was already mentioned today. As I'm several minutes behind, I just want to conclude that it seems, at least, that AI-driven social scoring within B2C relationships is not forbidden, but it has to be assessed very cautiously. It has to be context-limited, purpose-bound, and proportionate. Thank you very much for your attention.